Hi everyone. So now I'm going to explain a composite design pattern. So composite design pattern belongs to structural design pattern category. So structural, as I mentioned in my introductory session, that structural is basically involving how to create structures. When you want to combine different objects together in order to build a structure, it belongs to structural category. So if you are designing different complex structures, and if you want to build them or connect different components in order to get them done, then it's the composite is the answer for you. Okay, so composite we normally use when we want to compose the objects in a tree structure where individual objects as well as the composed objects behave uniformly. So when we want to develop any structure, it's not that all objects are simple objects. There are some objects which are complex objects. There are some objects which are composite objects. Now what is a composite object? Composite object which is an object which in turn is made up of many other small objects. Now if I consider a car object, can you all tell me whether a car object is a simple or a composite object? Car object is definitely a composite object because car is not a single entity. It in turn consists of many small objects, like it contains a steering wheel, it contains a door, it contains a window, it contains a mud flap. So this car internally is made up of many small parts, small objects. So car is definitely an object, but it's a composite object because it internally is made up of many small objects. So that's a composite object. So if you want to if you want to design something wherein you want to make the simple and composite objects behave uniformly. When I say behave in object oriented programming, what does it mean? Function definitions, right? The class is made up of two parts, data members and data functions. Data members is data related to that class. Data functions or member functions are behavior of that class. So data members are the data associated with that class, and member functions are behavior associated with that class. So when I said that use composite design pattern when you want leaf and composed objects to be behaved uniformly, that means both the simple as well as complex objects will have a same function, same member functions in them, and the invoker will invoke the same member function, and both should behave uniformly. That means user will invoke one function of the leaf the same way he invokes the function of the composed object. Behavior is mapped to member functions. So if you want simple and complex objects both to behave the same way, use a composite design pattern wherein you can connect the simple and composed objects into a single tree hierarchy. Okay, so here I have a UML diagram for you all wherein I'll just explain to you all how this diagram goes about. So I have a component class here. So now this class component is something that is an abstract class. So whatever key operations that I have, the controlling operations, I moved it on top. So there is a function called add. What is this add? Using this add, you can add different components to this class. You can keep on adding as many components you want. Remove means if you want to remove a component from this list that is created using an add, then you can remove them using a remove function. And get child will return one node of your list at a time. So this component class will internally have a list of components. Add function will help you in adding elements to that list. Remove function will help you in removing elements from the list. Get child will give you one element from that list at a time. Okay. So I have a component based class. Then I have a leaf. Now what is a leaf? Leaf is a very simple object which cannot be broken down further. So when you have a complex structure to be developed, the very first thing that you do is you divide it into different parts. Now some part are very small part which cannot be divided further, and that is the leaf. And what is a composite? Composite is the one which is a complex object which can be broken down into small parts. So composite object is this. So this is a bit complex object which in turn is made up of small objects. Leaf is an object which cannot be broken down further. So in the composite, what are we doing? We have an add function implemented which will help in adding components to the list. I have a remove function which helps me in removing elements from the list, and I have a get child which will return a component from that particular list. Now what will this operation function do? So this operation function will traverse the entire list. It will traverse the entire list and it will invoke operation function for each of the node in that list. I repeat, this operation function will go through each elements of the list and it will invoke the operation function for each of the node of that list. That's why I have an operation function defined for leaf, because this list that you have created can be made up of leaf objects and composite objects both, right? Because this add is adding a component. Now what can go into category component? Simple leaf objects can also go into component category, and composite objects can also go into component category. So this list that we have created can be made up of leaf objects and composite objects both. That's why you need to have this operation function defined in the leaf and also in composite. The only difference is composite is made up of other small objects. So I need to invoke operation function for each of those objects which composite object is made up of. So if a list contains a simple leaf object, then directly call its operation function. But if it is made up of a composite object, then call operation function of the composite object, which internally will invoke operation function of each of the sub objects that it has. Composite object internally can have composite object and it can go recursively. So at the end it will end up to set of leaf objects. If you just imagine the entire tree, I have a list made up of leaf and composite objects which is made up of n number of other objects. Okay, and composite object can contain composite object and the tree can go at any level. So at the end, if you just check the entire tree, it will be made up of leaf objects at the leaf of the tree. That's why you need to have this operation defined in the leaf class as well. Okay. So when do you think of using a composite object? The question that you need to raise to yourself is, do you have units and groups and want to treat them the same way? Do you have a single entity unit or a group of units and you want both to behave the same way? Then the answer is composite. And compose the objects in a tree structure where individual objects as well as composed objects behave uniformly. So the composed objects delegates the request to the individual leaf objects. I repeat, composite objects delegates the request to the individual leaf objects. So typically the class diagram looks like you identify the scalar or the primitive classes. So in this diagram, which is the primitive class? Leaf is the primitive class. And you also identify a vector or a container class. So which is the container class here? Composite class. Then you create an interface that can make all the concrete classes interchangeable. Now which is the interface here? Component class. So all concrete classes declare a user relationship with the component class. So I have a leaf and I have a composite. So both these inherit from component class. Okay. All container classes couple themselves to the interface in a recursive fashion. So I have a composite here which is recursively inheriting from the component. Okay. So container class uses polymorphism as they delegate to their children. So why do they use polymorphism? The reason being, everyone over here is going to have an operation class defined. So it defines polymorphism because each of the classes, whether it may be a leaf, whether it may be a composite, have an operation function defined in them. So at runtime or at compile time, you can decide which operation function to call from each of the classes. Hence I mentioned that composite uses polymorphism when they delegate to their children. So for the each children here, you invoke its operation function. Clear? So this is the example program that I am going to show you all for a composite design pattern. So I have an abstract component class here. In that I have a function called traverse, which is the operation function for me. I just correlate this with my UML diagram that I showed on the previous slide. On my previous slide, I had a function called operation. Remember, I had a function called operation. Now that operation is exactly same as my traverse function. So I have a class component which has a traverse function. Now what is a leaf? Leaf is an object that cannot be broken down further. So in the constructor of leaf, I accept a value and I save it into data member value. Then I define a function traverse which will just print a value on the screen. Simple. In the constructor, I am setting a value to its data member value, and in traverse I am just printing the value of that data member on the screen. Simple. Now I have a composite object. What is a composite object? It's a container object which consists of n number of other objects. That's why in composite object I created a vector of components. I created a list of components. What this add function will do, it will accept a component from outside and it will add it to a list called children. Now children is the name of the list that this composite object has. So add function will get component from outside and it will be added to a children's list. Now what will traverse do? Traverse will iterate through all elements of this vector and it will invoke its traverse function. So suppose I call this add function 10 times by passing 10 different component elements. All these 10 objects will be added to the children vector. So very first time I will call, the first component will be added to children. Second time I call, second component will be added to children. Third, fourth, fifth, sixth, 7, 8, 9, 10. All these 10 objects will be added to children vector, and children vector will be full of 10 different component objects. Now if someone invokes traverse of this composite object, what will it do? It will read all the 10 elements of this children vector and it will invoke traverse function of each of the object. I repeat, it will invoke traverse function of each of the object. So suppose these 10 objects were all leaf objects. Suppose all these 10 objects were leaf objects. What will happen? It will invoke traverse function of the respective leaf objects. Suppose of these 10 elements, 5 of them were leaf and 5 of them were compose. What will happen? It will invoke traverse function of 5 of the leaf objects and it will invoke traverse function for the remaining 5 composite objects. Understood? So here I have a main entry point. What did we do here? I have 4 containers objects. I have 4 composite objects created, and let's see how am I tackling them here. I have 2 for loops here, so I am creating a matrix. So for I is equal to 0 to 3, so I is equal to 0, 1, 2, 3. For j is equal to 0 to 2, that's why j is equal to 0, 1, 2. What do I do here? Containers of I. What is I here? In first iteration I is 0. So containers of 0 meaning this array. So containers of 0 dot add. I am calling the add function of containers of 0. And what is the value that I pass? I call a new leaf. I am creating a new leaf object. And what is the value that I pass? I is 0 in first iteration. So 0 multiplied by 3 is 0 plus j. J is 0. So I am creating a leaf object with a value 0 passed to it. So let's create a leaf object with 0 passed to it. So value will be 0. Okay. So I am writing that value 0 here. For the next iteration, I is always 0. So it will go to 0, 1, 2, right? So for the next iteration, I will have internal for loop. What is the value that I pass? I is always 0 in first iteration. So let's focus only on j. So in the next iteration, value of j will be 1. So I am writing 1 here. Next iteration, value of j will be 2. So I write 2 here. So the first loop is over. Now let's go to the second iteration of for I will be equal to 1 and j is equal to be 0. So what is this formula? 1 into 3. So this will be always 3 for this loop. So 3 plus 0 is 3. So I am writing 3. Next iteration, 3 plus 1, because j will be 1 then, is 4. So I am writing 4. Next iteration, 3 plus 2 is 5. So I am writing 5. So that way, after both these for loops are completely executed, I will have this matrix created with whatever I have mentioned in blue are the values which are assigned to the leaf objects. Then what do I do next? For loop I is equal to 1 to I is less than 4. So I is 1 to 3. For I is equal to 1 to 3, what do? I go to containers of 0. Containers of 0 meaning this particular container only. And I am calling add, and what do I add? I add a complex object. I add a composite object. So containers of 1. So what is container of 1? This. Container of 1 is this. So I am saving the address of this entire composite object. I am adding the entire composite object to container 0. So after 0, 1, 2, I add entire container 1 object. So 3, 4, 5. Next loop I will be equal to 2. So I is equal to 2 meaning containers of 2 is what? This array. So I am adding this array to the containers of 0. So that's why 6, 7, 8. Next iteration I will be equal to 3. So containers of 3 is what? This. So I am adding containers of 3 to containers of 0. So 9, 10, 11 are added. So I am adding this container here, adding this container here, adding this container here as far as this loop goes. And in the last for loop, what do? I just print, I call traverse of each of the containers. So for I is equal to 0 to 3. So for I is equal to 0, 1, 2, 3, I just call traverse. So when I will call traverse of containers of 0, it will print all this. When I call traverse of 1, it will print this. Traverse of 2, it will print this. Traverse of 3, it will print this. So container of 1 just had 3 leaf objects. Container of 2 had 3 leaf objects. Container of 3 had 3 leaf objects. But container of 0 had 3 leaf objects. One composite object made up of 3, 4, 5. Second composite object made up of 6, 7, 8. Third composite object made up of 9, 10 and 11. So container 0 had 3 composite objects and 3 leaf objects. I repeat, container 0 had 3 leaf objects and 3 container objects. So if you want the leaf and composite objects to behave uniformly, use a composite design pattern. So what behavior is the same here? Behavior is the traverse. So I have in the leaf I have a traverse implemented, in the composite I have a traverse implemented, and both are behaving uniformly as part of its implementation. So this is the example of a composite design pattern. So that's all I had on composite design pattern. Thanks a lot.